Hi, everybody. I'm here with my research assistant and producer, Ollie. There we go, Ollie. Been a good boy today. Keeps me going. We've already had 2 walks today. I think 2. Yeah, 2. So it keeps me going there. We have a lot to talk about today. This is day 6 of the war. And let's see how it's going. For one thing, New York Times today, I'm calling this the Behind the News with John Seiler. New York Times, war spreads outside the Middle East and pulls in NATO. So we basically have a world war now. It involves Europe, Asia, of course, West Asia or the Middle East, depending on how you call it. And if the Houthis get involved in Yemen, right now they're holding back for some reason. But you might remember a year ago they closed the Red Sea, and then Trump conducted Operation Rough Rider. But Trump had to pull back. He had to have a truce with them because the Houthis were winning. And Trump, of course, says, "Oh, we won. We beat the Houthis," you know. And across the Red Sea, of course, is Africa. So that's another continent that could get involved in this. 3 continents, no, 4 continents. Maybe we'll get Antarctica involved too someday. And I wrote a post this morning on my Substack. Make sure to go there, johnseiler.substack.com. It's about Tulsi Gabbard calling on her to resign and protest. She should do it. Come here, Ollie. Ollie likes to get involved. So Tulsi, you remember, she was the big one who was against all these regime change wars for many years when she ran against Hillary back in 2016. She was totally against it, against her, saying she Hillary was for all the wars, the Iraq War, the Kosovo War, the Libya War, all these wars, all these regime change wars, and so here's what, and then Tulsi came in along with Trump. Trump was the #1 no regime change wars guy. Remember, Trump said it many times. No Iran war, no Iraq war. Jeb Bush was an idiot. He supported his brother's war. George W. Bush was an idiot. Cheney was an idiot and a draft dodger, like Trump is a draft dodger. 5 deferments. So here's Tulsi a year ago. It was on March 20th. She said this before Congress.
Some data. The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003. The IC continues to monitor closely if Tehran decides to reauthorize its nuclear weapons program. In the past year, we've seen an erosion of a decades-long taboo in Iran on discussing nuclear weapons in public, likely emboldening nuclear weapons advocates within Iran's decision-making apparatus. Iran's enriched uranium stockpile is at its highest levels and is unprecedented for a state without nuclear weapons.
So there we go. No nuclear weapons program.
The CIA has been working to arm.
That's another thing about their arming the Kurds, supposedly. Maybe I'll talk about that later, or I did before. So uh, now the guy Khamenei who said no nuclear weapons development, he's dead. So now they could be developing them right now in these caves. They could be developing a nuclear weapon right now and have it in a couple weeks. That is, Iran could. And after Tulsi said this in June when Trump bombed Iran, he said, "Oh no, Tulsi's wrong. They really have nuclear weapons, but I obliterated them." Remember that? And they had a whole thing, fake news that Trump did not obliterate them. Well, now Trump's pushing the nuclear threat again. So let's get a couple of things here that we have. Some news items. One of the things I want to point out is there's some problems with the supplies. If America can't keep the supplies going to our troops to fire the missiles, to have the defense missiles, then there's big problems. And this is why, let's see, here we go. This is a quote from the South Korean newspaper Chosun Daily, March 3rd. Quote, U.S. considers relocating THAAD Patriots to Middle East. South Korea-based systems may be moved amid prolonged U.S. military operation against Iran. THAAD is terminal high altitude area defense. It's our best air defense. So they don't have enough of them in the Middle East, so they're gonna cannibalize them from South Korea. And I had a quote here. This is uh, something I wrote for the Orange County Register, should be in soon. But about from Colonel Wilkerson. He was Colonel Powell's chief of staff when Powell was the Secretary of State. But Colonel Wilkerson says it will drain South Korea in terms of its real capability to defend itself. They'll be they'll be inclined to kick us off their peninsula. Well, fine, we shouldn't be there anyway. Let's get out of, and also it would affect Japan. Let's get out of Japan too, but it's probably not going to happen. But the point is, we don't have enough. And also, Wall Street Journal today, March 5th, quotes, let me get it here. Kiev faces a shortfall of missile interceptors for its air defense, while surging oil prices are boosting Russia's economy. So just think, this is called blowback. It means when you do something and then it blows back at you. It's a CIA term. So we have this two things here. We're taking the missiles from South Korea, and now we're not going to be giving them to Ukraine either. Ukraine, there we already were slowing development, or rather deliveries of missiles to Ukraine and making Europe pay for them. But now they're just going to go all to the Middle East. It's all going to be drained for there. And then Russia, guess what? Oil's up today. I looked; it was $77 a barrel. Recently, it was $60, like about 2 months ago. So all that money is going to go to Russia. Their economy has been slowing because of the low oil prices, because their economy depends on huge oil production. When the price goes down, they're hurting. Their economy last year developed only at about 1 or 2%, whereas the year before, when oil prices were higher, it developed at 4%, which is pretty good. Supposedly our economy is 4.2% this year, at least before this. But now oil prices, of course, are going up. We'll see. I haven't seen prices at the pump go up yet in California, although in this place it's so high anyway. I paid $4.60 the other day. I wrote about that on on Saturday. When the war started, I went and filled up right away. But for some reason, they're not increasing. And maybe the oil companies are not going to. They don't want to get Trump mad, and they're also maybe using the oil depletion allowance. I mean, the oil up. I'm sorry, that's from the 70s. The national oil reserves to do it, and so maybe they're doing that. We'll see. But the oil companies are going to be making money all around the world anyway with this increased price of oil. And so they might just take a hit in America. They'll still be making money because $60 a barrel is still pretty good. They were making money 2 months ago, but we'll see. And what else do we have here? Oh, I was going to bring up the Democrats. Hey, there's this other party out there. There was the vote yesterday, the day before, on the War Powers Act, and it's dubiously constitutional, but it's never been tested, and it's moot anyways. I keep saying that Constitution doesn't matter anymore. Where's my Constitution? Here's my Constitution. Gone. Okay, so about this War Powers Act, the Democrats were all against it, and the Republicans the majority, so they favored it, and in the Senate, only Rand Paul was voted in favor of the War Powers Act, and only Fetterman voted to get rid of the against the War Powers Act, rather. So it failed anyway. But the point is, the Democrats are positioning themselves. So when this war goes bad, then they're going to take advantage of it. And if you ever live in Washington, there's all kinds of rumors. I was there 5 years in the '80s, and these guys in Congress know what's going on. That's why they have their investments. About Pelosi's investments. She's like doubled the Dow Industrial Average in her investments in 40 years since she's been in Congress, because she knows what's going on, and she invests in it ahead of time. And there's even an index fund on her, because the investments are public for Congress, and they keep going up and up and up. And she's leaving at the end of this year. But what I mean here is, these people in Congress know what's going on. They have secret briefings, and I think they know the war is going badly, despite what Hegseth and Rubio and Trump are all saying. Caroline Levitt. So they're 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 betting. First of all, they have investments in the arms companies because if the war lasts, then those arms companies are going to go make a lot of more money. And the second thing is, if the war goes badly, then of course it's going to help the Democrats in December. And they had a huge turnout. I'm sorry, in November, they had a huge turnout on Tuesday in Texas. It's a Republican state, but uh, if the the Democrats, they had more than 2 million who voted in the primaries, which was more than double what they had in the 2000s. So they're really getting enthusiastic. And another thing is here, but they're playing along too. There's an article today in Politico about we're in it. Democrats say they won't rule out giving Trump more money for the Middle East war. Of course, they're all for spending more of our money. They always do that. And we also have Governor Gavin Newsom, my governor out here in California, and your future president. He's playing this sharp. You know, he said he only had a low IQ, but that was all fake, of course. He is dyslexic, but that doesn't mean he has a low IQ. And this is a quote today from, let's see, where is it from? Well, from somewhere. Oh, ABC 7, Los Angeles, one of our local TV stations here. Governor Newsom talks Iran war, field of possible successors at PAC book tour in LA. And he's questioning the war. So he senses it's going to go bad too. He's going to be in the lead in questioning the war. And we'll have to see how that turns out. But if it turns out badly, as it seems to be happening, then the Democrats are just going to slaughter the Republicans this November. They're positioning themselves that way, and they'll when money comes up, most of them, or at least some of them, will pass to get more money for the war, and they'll say, well, you know, we trusted the president, but then he just botched the whole war. He doesn't know what he's doing. Elect Democrats, and so a couple of things here. There's an attack on Iran. It's targeted Aramco's largest oil refinery in Saudi Arabia with drones for the second time. And they also attacked oil tankers. So they're trying to shut down the whole oil business in the Middle East, not just in the Strait of Hormuz, which they have shut, but also to blow up the whole infrastructure there. It'll take years and billions and tens of billions of dollars, billions and billions and billions and trillions and trillions. And let's see, Qatar shut down its Ras Laffan natural gas plant, liquefied natural gas plant, halting exports. While China's Costco suspended Gulf services amid the Strait of Hormuz blockade. Defense Secretary Hegseth yesterday says the war could last 8 weeks, emphasizing, quote, decisive progress, unquote. I thought it was going to last 4 weeks. Well, but the key here is, as I've been saying, is does the Iranian government cohere? It's been shattered at the top, but there's a guy named Brian Berletic on YouTube. He's a good channel if you check him. He's an armaments guy, former U.S. Marine. I think he was a captain. Anyway, he was an officer, and he knows all about this stuff. And he says the Iranians in recent years, and especially the last 8 months since the war last June, they have what he called the mosaic. So, amazing little pieces of tile on a wall. And so they have this little thing they've decentralized, in other words, and they have some kind of loose structure. And if that's the case, how are you going to kill that? You have to kill dozens of these mosaic tiles to do it. You have to, instead of just killing Khamenei and 49 people, including him, probably a lot more now at the top. But if it's decentralized, then what? What else do we have here? Strait of Hormuz, mentioned that today. Traffic has dropped 90%. And Keir Starmer, the ludicrous Prime Minister of United Kingdom, says Iran's regional attacks have changed the situation, and he rejects non-involvement. He was trying to stay out because there's so many Muslims now in the UK. They might even be the majority religion there in the UK. They've had so many immigrants, and the Church of England has declined, and the Catholic Church is still there too, but not too big. So see what else I had here. Yeah, I think that's it. We'll see what happens. The next few days are going to be critical, and it doesn't seem like this war is going to go well, despite what they say, because they're going to lie about everything. And Tulsi, again, she should resign. Tulsi, if you're listening, quit. Resign and protest. Give us some hope. Bye, everybody. I'm going to try keep doing this every day.